Joining us this afternoon, all the way from Purdue University, it's a former Lufkin Panther, Sam Flores. Sam, what's going on, man? How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I want to talk to you first about this year that you're having at Purdue. It's your first year at Purdue. You're batting 395 with 8 homers, 38 RBI, and 35 runs scored. And especially over this past month, you've just been tearing the cover off the ball. So talk to me about this first year at Purdue for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's been awesome. First, I just want to give all the glory to God. Like everything, nothing's possible without Him. And yeah, it's just been awesome. It's a great coaching staff. It's been a great opportunity for me. It's a great group of guys. It's been great.
I do want to ask you about Big Ten play because a lot of talk with the Big Ten and the realignment that's all happened is the Big Ten is spread out now. You got teams on the West Coast, teams on the East Coast, obviously Indiana, Illinois, all in the middle there. What is the travel like in the Big Ten from your perspective? Because I know I know you've had to go to the East Coast, and I think you got a trip to Southern Cal coming up later in the season. But what has the travel been like in the Big Ten?
We haven't had the worst of it right now. Like obviously, like you said, we traveled to Maryland. It's really nothing crazy on the way there. Obviously, you can get back late at night on Sunday night, Monday mornings, but it's a lot of fun. A lot of air travel with all your best friends. It's stressful, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I can imagine. I've just been curious because I know I hear a lot of talk about all that travel, so that's good that
Right.
you're at least making fun of it and having a good time with it, and it helps that you're with some guys that you love and that you enjoy playing with. I want to ask you how you ended up at Purdue. So I know you spent last season at Kansas State as a junior. You're a senior now. What made your decision to attend Purdue?
Yeah, I was at Kansas State, and I didn't have the best year. I didn't get the most opportunities, but I left on good terms with that coaching staff. And Coach Waite's the hitting coach, knows at Kansas State, knows Coach Serrato here at Purdue. So he kind of put a word in for me, and they came and watched me. And when I got on the phone with Coach Serrato and Coach Goff, I knew that's where I wanted to be.
What's been the biggest difference, do you think, so far from Big 12 play to Big 10, playing at Kansas State and playing at Purdue? What's been the biggest differences in those two programs and the competition levels? I mean, I know it's all D1, but what's been like to you the difference in competition between Big 12 and Big 10 in those two programs?
Right. I mean, like you said, it's baseball, and at the end of the day, it's not anything crazy. I mean, obviously, Big Ten has something a little bit different to offer than the Big 12, and I can't really put my finger on it, but there's just slight differences within just the game itself. So it's different, but it's not.
And you spent junior college years at McLennan County down in Waco. So what was that experience like for you playing JUCO ball and then in those 2 years? How did that help prepare you and make you the ball player that you are today?
Those were years were amazing. Like, those are the best years of my life. Like at the end of the day, here you have 30, 40,000 people on campus. Right at McLennan, there's maybe 3 or 4,000. You're not seeing anyone that's not on your baseball team. Like you're growing together. You're failing together, you're learning together, and that was the awesome part. I still have great friendship relationships with all those coaches. Like I'll still call them and talk to them, and build those relationships. It's been awesome, and like you said, the success thing, I think it just taught me how to fail. It also taught me how to slow down and appreciate where I'm at, and just be able to get up and compete the next day, and be the same person every day.
You mentioned that time at Kansas State where you didn't get to play as much as you would have liked. How difficult was that year for you? Being a star in Lufkin and then having a big role at McLennan, not getting to play a lot at K State. How difficult was that year for you personally to try and get through and keep that love for the game?
Right. Yeah. I mean, it was tough. Obviously, you know what you have in your body, and you know what you're able to do, and not being able to perform and help the team win is obviously frustrating. But I just stayed rooted in my faith and just focused on being the same person every day. And I hope to set a good example for all the guys that were there and that saw me every day, and saw the way that I went about my business. So that was the main goal for me, is not keeping it so much about myself, more so as the team, and helping the team win, and being a good example for younger guys.
Well, you mentioned the younger guys, and I want to talk about your time in Lufkin, growing up there and going to school there. How much? I'll ask you about Lufkin, the baseball in a second, but you mentioned the younger generation, the younger kids. How important is it for you, do you think, to be a role model for the younger generation, the younger kids in Lufkin that may be looking up to you and want to play Division I baseball and see someone that walked those same halls now on TV and playing baseball? How important of a role do you think that is for you to kind of guide that younger generation and show them that you can do it and it is possible?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's been big. Lufkin's a small town. Kind of everybody knows everybody in the sense. So just being able to set an example of hey, this is where you can get. If you just keep your head down, you keep working, and you just do what's asked of you, and you do what you do what you need to do, and you walk the line. I think setting a great example for like the younger guys has been a big deal for me.
Tell me about playing in Lufkin. I was looking at some stats earlier. You hold a ton of records there at Lufkin for the baseball program. So tell me about your time at Lufkin and what you learned playing for the Panthers.
Yeah, I mean, it was awesome. Obviously, we were a really tight group. A lot of us been playing together since we were 5 years old. So, you don't ever get that time back. Like you go to college and, guys for 1, 2, if you're lucky, 3, 4 years. Like you play with guys that you've known your whole life when you're in Lufkin, and it's something that's so much bigger than you and bigger than the people around you. Like it's a community wide thing, and people show up for us, and it was just it's awesome. It's hard to describe how awesome it is.
Yeah, I was just in Lufkin last night for a couple games there. It's beautiful facilities that they have there, and just tremendous people all around. Do you still keep up with Lufkin baseball today? Do you still keep track and see how they're doing?
Yeah, I do. I talk to Cobb. I probably talk to Cobb at least twice a month. He kind of gives me a hard time because he says I call him too much. But yeah, I keep up. Yeah.
Well, and they speaking of that game last night, 13 inning game. It was a tough one to White House. 4-2, I think, was the final White House one in 13 innings, but a tremendous effort from Lufkin. But you mentioned that how the younger generation they're looking up to people like you at playing at the next level. It all starts in Little League, right? And Lufkin has had a tremendous Little League program over the past years. What is that experience like playing Lufkin Little League? Because I know we have Little League here, in Tyler and areas
Right.
around, but Lufkin, that Thundering 13 team, made it all the way to Williamsport. What is the Little League experience like in Lufkin?
Yeah. So I was lucky enough. I played for Coach Bud, who coached the Thunder 13 team. I played for him for years, and like he's still. I mean, we go when I'm in town, we go out to eat, and he's great, and that culture that he's set with, hey, like those guys, like they sacrifice their summer, they practice twice a day. And, that's something that, it showed the kids like in Lufkin, like, hey, this can be done here. You just have to put in the work to do it. And that's something that, I think every year with Little League, like, those kids look forward to that, look forward to, having the chance to go back to Williamsport because it has been done and, we've shown it can be done. So it's fun and, it's competitive for sure.
Yeah, it definitely is, and it kind of sets the mark for East Texas Little League is there in Lufkin.
Right.
That's really cool. So a couple more things I want to ask you. I'll let you get out of here. The
Yep.
community support. We talk about Lufkin and how tight knit that community is, and it seems like whenever we post about what you're doing up at Purdue, it spreads like wildfire on Facebook there. So how much does that community support from back home mean to you?
It's unbelievable. It's great. I mean, looking at like you said, y'all post something or Facebook, and you see all the people that I don't even personally know. Like my parents may have gone to school with, or my brother grew up with their son or something like that. Like that community and like the ability they have to uplift you is something that's unbelievable.
Who maybe it's a major league player or it could be an active player or a legendary player. Who is somebody that you model your game after, or who has been an inspiration on the baseball field that you try to model your game after?
Yeah. I'd say like growing up, my favorite player was Francisco Lindor, just the way he played and how, he was always smiling. That's something that I've always kind of taken with myself is like, hey, at the end of the day, you're just playing a game and, you're always smiling, always having fun. So,
All right, last thing, I'll let you get out of here. What's the rest of the season look like for y'all? I know it's been kind of up and down this year for Purdue, but the rest of the season, Big Ten play and headed into the postseason, what can y'all do on the field to kind of gain that momentum as you head into the postseason play?
yeah, we're battling some injuries right now. So, obviously, when we get healthy and, get a little consistency going, and, I think we got big 2 series coming up. we're fifth in Big Ten right now. So being able to separate ourselves and try to get into that top four is our goal. And then we go to USC in 3 weeks, and that's a big one to make a statement, and hopefully make a statement there, and just kind of hit our stride, catch our groove right at the right time, get into postseason, get into the Big Ten conference tournament, and make a run at it.
All right, Sam. Well, man, I appreciate you taking the time and talking to us this afternoon. It's been a pleasure watching you play this season. We look forward to the rest of the year, and hopefully we'll talk to you down the road, man. Have a great rest of the year.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Sam.